Hey, what's up, YouTube? Little man with a big opinion here. Today's video is going to be, short, simple, and to the point. I think preppers need to start exercising way more than what all these channels are like talking about. And I say that because, I think most of these channels might have put up one video covering it. And that's about it. And a lot of them, just looking at their body composition, they don't look like they're people that work out consistently. One person that I've watched, he talks constantly in his videos, whether or not he's talking about firearms or storing your rice and beans or your 750 pounds a person per year. He talks a lot about, I did this ruck today with this much weight. My rifle, my tack vest or plate carrier, and I did it in this time. And it takes him like 20 seconds to say it in his video. And he releases videos pretty consistently. And so, unless he's just saying it to say it, I believe that he's actually, doing his workouts. But most preppers, I just see them doing the store your ammo, store your food, and only shoot when you have to protect your stuff, and you'll be fine. Right now, Americans are already fat. We're the fattest country in the world. Our obesity, to be considered obese in the United States, you have to have a waist over 40 inches for a male. That's insane. That's huge. Unless you're, an NFL lineman or maybe a running back, you shouldn't have a waist that big. And so, preppers need to start exercising. They say, 2,000 calories is what you should eat a day, the USDA or whatever. But if you start looking into it, a male needs like 2,800 and a female needs 2,600. If you're active, a male needs 3,200 and a female needs 3,000. That's you being active now in the sense of, I work out, for an hour twice a day. That's, you going to your normal job kind of thing. It's not, I have to plant all my food and do all my hunting, which probably means riding a bike or walking all of that distance, if something happens. A lot of things that we used to do, modern technology has made it much easier. We don't burn as many calories to have to do the necessary things anymore. So, in saying that preppers need to start working out, I think, one of the easiest ways to keep yourself fit is get into like an intramural sport that, keeps your heart rate up. Soccer, flag football, something along those lines. And when you do that, that keeps, your run time down, which is a big thing for all Americans, not just preppers, is, you should stay fit. But then, very few preppers are doing the, train how you fight mentality of, well, my ruck weighs 80 pounds because I've got all the gear in there that I want. I've got a plate carrier and my rifle and a sidearm, and I carry 9 magazines on my plate carrier, and, I've got a battle belt and everything. Well, if you're not constantly using that stuff, then you're kidding yourself. So my suggestion to you is get into airsoft. You can maybe do paintball. I'm not too big of a paintball guy myself. And find a weekend event or a 72-hour MILSIM event. And that'll really put to the test this idea of carrying a bunch of crap on your back and being able to fight. Getting a good, a weekend event where you do skirmishes all day Friday. You go to sleep for 5 or 6 hours that night. And you do all day skirmishes Saturday. Same 5 or 6 hours. You go to sleep again. You wake up Sunday. You might do a couple hours worth. And then you all go your separate ways. You'll be very surprised on how exhausted you are after doing like a 48, 56 hour event on 5 or 6 hours of sleep. Now, I'm not saying, if the grid goes down and you're sitting in your apartment that you're going to have to do that. But if it's just you and your significant other and maybe a kid, you're probably going to get the same amount of sleep that you're getting at one of these events. You're worried about someone breaking into your home. You're worried about, protecting what you have and who you have with you. And so you're not just going to be able to stay up till 11 or 12 at night and sleep till 10 o'clock the next day. So I guess part of the staying fit is also like the mentality of, your sleep schedule. Because you never know. Several people that I know after Harvey, when they came back to their home, some of them had already been broken into and property was stolen, but others, when they got back, they had boarded up their windows and locked their doors, and when they got back, they kind of went and squatted in their house. They didn't have power, but they also didn't want no one to be at their house. So they had to, do shifts of who's going to be awake so that people wouldn't come by and, take stuff. So same thing with staying fit. You should, practice a good sleep schedule. And, do some kind of sport that keeps your run time down. Or you could just, run 3 miles a day and, ruck every other weekend. And then you can do, battle drills with your group and buddy team live fires and stuff like that. But I seriously think in a long weekend airsoft event will wake you up to a lot of your incompetencies. I know the very first time I went, I was extremely exhausted. And I actually took the first shift on driving on the way home. About a 15-hour drive. I drove for about 4. And luckily my friend drove for 6 and another one drove for 5. And I was able to sleep almost that entire time. Constantly moving, constantly doing missions. But, after that, I still, even before that, I was working out once a day, for an hour and a half. I'd do a long run on the weekend. And I'd occasionally, do a 6 to 8 hour airsoft day at my local field. And that was, fairly exhausting, but I was just carrying a rifle and, magazines and ammo. But that 56-hour event of, hey, you get 5 hours of sleep each night. And sometimes we might even do night attacks. It's cold. But preppers need to stay fit. Moral of the story. Develop a workout where you're consistently working out. If you need to get the rest of your team or group involved, do it. If it helps playing a sport where, the more you work out, the better chance you have of winning that sport. If that's what you need to get like the dopamine flowing in your brain. You need to work out. You need to, lift weights. You need to work out with what you plan on bugging out with, if that's your plan. It should always be a backup plan. Even if you lived, in a castle on 1,000 acres and you had 80 people to defend with you, you still need to have that small plan of, what if 1,000 people come and try to, take on my 80 people? And we lose 40. Should we leave? Kind of thing. So you should always be ready to bug out. And with that, you should be able to carry what you need to best make you survive. If you think you can get away with only carrying 20 pounds, then only carry 20 pounds. If you need a 58-pound rucksack with, everything you think you're going to need in it, then go for it. But you got to be able to pull your weight. You got to be able to stay with your group, kind of thing. And, consider the airsoft thing. I never thought about it in a prepping sense, because I was like, we're just shooting plastic BBs at each other. And you have to get pretty close. So the engagement distance, I think, is the only thing about airsoft that isn't realistic, especially when you've got retired combat vets leading some of these airsoft events. I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. Leave in the comment section if you are a prepper and you work out, like, what do you do to stay fit? It'll be a suggestion for me. I already work out 9 times a week, roughly. And like the video if, you think this is important. Maybe it's a wake-up call and you're like, I'm a prepper and I've got, 40,000 rounds, but I weigh 290 pounds and I can run a 12-minute mile. Maybe it's your wake-up call. Maybe you're already fit, but you're only working out 3 to 5 times a week and you're like, maybe I should step it up to 4 to 6 or something like that. Still not a YouTube partner. So a friend of mine suggested this, and I'll start doing this in the rest of my videos. And if you watch my other ones, you'll see it in the description, but I just didn't mention it. I've included my Venmo into the bottom of my videos. I think it's in my last 1 or maybe 2 that I mentioned it. But if you feel like supporting the channel, the Venmo's in there. I just appreciate it if you do decide to Venmo me. Just put YouTube. If there's enough character space, just put YouTube and the video that you liked or felt like you should donate because of that video. Add that in there as well. Every little bit helps. I'm going to keep talking into my camera because it's almost like, reading a book for 30 minutes a day, because I have to, come up with an idea in my head for what I'm going to talk about. Sometimes I do a little bit of research or math or something like that, and then I make a video and talk about it. So I'm still engaging my brain. I feel like I'm learning some stuff as I make these videos. So if you want to see the rest of them, then subscribe. If you like this video, then like it. And I'll see y'all next time.